Hey, I'm Gav, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Your raw emotions from that snippet that your manager posted on TikTok a couple of weeks ago, not even a couple of weeks ago, but since then, that's been like stuck in my head for like that entire time. And then now the single's finally out, and it's just like even more amazing than what we heard on the snippet. Congratulations with the new track, and talk to me a little bit about being able to emote those raw feelings, raw emotions through your music.
No, well, yeah, bro. Thank you so much for listening and really enjoying the track for real. So with this song, I recorded it over a year ago. That's that video that everybody's seeing. That was recorded in January 2020, right before became a thing. But just with songs like that, there's definitely a bunch of them for sure. I make a lot of different types of music, but for those songs, bringing out that raw emotion, I try and just reflect upon the experiences that I've had in my past, that have like shaped me into the person who I am and who I'm becoming. The song definitely has, it's definitely pretty slow. It's at the 55 BPM. And I definitely talk about like one central theme, and it's a lot of it is just grief, you know what I'm saying, talking before and after, and I've definitely dealt with that in my life, definitely. So just going off of that, I just want to basically bring it to a place where people can listen and resonate and be like, I don't need to get anything out. I can just like use this as a way of expression and a way of like showing how I feel, like from the listener standpoint kind of thing.
Right. And as you kind of mentioned, like you did write this a year ago, but in the lyrics it says, I lost you at 16. So it's been a few years since this situation kind of happened for you. Why was now like the time that it was time to write it? Like what got you to start writing this track?
Well, really what inspired it was like or I guess, the thing that happened that gave me the reason to talk about it was I lost my dad when I was 16.
Mm,
And I also lost someone emotionally at the time, that just kind of distanced away from me. So it's kind of like the two things juxtaposed against each other. And
mm.
that I try and bring it into the song. I would definitely say, yeah, that had a huge impact on me and just who I was as a person. So I would say that that's, definitely where that bar comes from. Yeah, I lost you at 16. Didn't know that it would hurt me because the year afterward, and the year following the tragedy, I kind of wasn't really I didn't seem affected by it, not until
Right.
like got into my like 19, 20, and
Mm.
I started to realize, dang, this actually has impacts on me
Wow.
that are like subconscious, but I'm not able to see them until I take a step back. You know what I'm saying?
The fact that it's such a deep topic for you, and obviously it's an experience you went through. um, what was that like when you started writing it, especially vulnerability? I know there's artists that struggle with vulnerability in the beginning, and there's others that live off of it. So for you, do you feel like it was comfortable for you to write the way that you did, or did you have to learn to do it the way that you did?
Just being an open book as a person, I was completely comfortable because there's no point in hiding yourself. Like I feel or I express what I feel. So if I'm sad, I'm gonna show it because there's no point in trying to hide who I am. I want to put it out on the table so that not at least not in a toxic way, in a way that's constructive to the point where like I can receive the help I need, or people can hear me for who I really am and what I really mean.
You mentioned earlier this song was a 55 BPM. Um, how important is the BPM to the cadence whenever you're writing music? Does that matter at all to you?
100%, yeah. When I get on songs that are in like the 110 and up range, I'll obviously be singing a little bit faster. So therefore, those notes that I'm milking out and crazy, with the texture of just like my voice when like right when I'm singing the note when it comes out, it's much easier to do that on a slow song because I have the time to do so and I don't have to necessarily kind of rush through it.
Being able to hit those notes and ranges that you did, like just the word crazy, for example, you had like ups and downs through it. But throughout this entire song and throughout, that crazy section, you still were able to control your vocals no matter how raw we were feeling, like that grit out of your voice. Like, how did you learn to do that? How did you learn to sing the way that you did, especially for this track?
Yeah, no, the way I learned from that was definitely started in my early high school years. I'm classically trained in choir. I did musical theater as well in high school. This was actually, and that was actually a direct result of what happened when I was 16, because I, was just going off doing different things, and then I got distracted, and I found my like a passion in singing like classical music, which was so strange to me because I was listening to artists like The Weeknd, Frank Ocean, and it was so different. And while I maintained listening to those artists, it was cool to jump into a whole new playing field, and being surrounded by people who are like-minded and like they share the same passion for that type of singing. You're able to really like take it to the next level. And so that's what I did. The next year I auditioned for a chamber choir and I got in. So I was taking 2 choir classes throughout my 6th period.
Man.
And so it was just every day I was singing. And then I was in musical theater as well. So after school, I'm singing musical theater songs, where, you definitely have to be able to sing live, and you need to know how to basically transfer from singing in your falsetto to singing in your chest voice and to singing into your low chest voice. And I'd say just from the 4, 5, 6 years of doing that, I was definitely able to pick up a lot of things just naturally. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily realize is like, it's like, a lot of people can sing, and my choir teacher always said anybody can sing. You just have to like, some people have to work at it a little bit longer. And that's something I definitely want to as I sort of try and make a bigger platform for myself, I definitely want to emphasize that in the younger audience, because I want them to be inspired to go ahead and follow what they want to do, because it's very, very possible. And definitely throughout, I'm getting a little off topic, but definitely throughout choir, when I was singing and doing that, I was able to kind of notice that. For sure. And then when I got into college, I did it for about a year, but it just got to the point where it was taking up too much time throughout my day.
Man, like that. I mean, that's cool that you kind of went through that kind of training. Because I feel like if it's not choir, it's like I would have guessed maybe it's something with the church or gospel that kind of made you like sing the way that you do. Now, on top of that, for this particular track, you had Jake as vocal producer. Talk to me about how he helped you throughout this recording process of this song, and how did he impact you in order to be a better singer this time around?
Yeah. So for the version that was posted on TikTok, Jake was doing the engineering for just in the studio, and that was my first time really in the studio. So like just listening to him give like feedback back and forth, because I can hear him in my headphones even though I'm in a different room. But he's telling me, he's like, "No, you got it. You can like you can do this." And all the other guys in the room were so supportive, and that really helped me be able to bring that out, because that night I was actually having a bit of an anxiety attack, just being so nervous in a studio for the first time. So, Jake was definitely very helpful for that. And then, but just to make note of this, for the song that's released, he didn't engineer that one. It was my buddy Hoodie. And he's definitely very talented as well. We kind of had the same sort of back and forth motion, just over FaceTime, because he's from New York and I'm out in Seattle. So it was definitely the same process, and they're on the same team. So pretty much it was like working with everybody all over again. So it was really, really cool to work with people like that, to bring out the best in you. For real.
Seriously. And as you mentioned, like, you were nervous. It was your first time in a studio in LA. Like, but on top of that, like, you listen to the song and it feels, very raw, very, very, like, the emotions are real, obviously. But I feel like when it comes to songs like that, you can't do so many takes, because then you start to lose that kind of feeling. How long did this track kind of take you to track as far as like the vocals go? And were you trying to be like as close to that first take as possible?
Yeah. So for songs like this, these differ actually from my other songs, because I'm able, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, we're talking with the slower BPM. I'm able to take my time with it, and so for takes like this, I'm able to get as close as I possibly can, almost if not replicable to the first take with these kinds of songs, because I'm able to I've done it longer in comparison to the faster flows and singing on likewise songs that I have out, Wonderlust. Getting takes like that again would be very difficult for me, because they're captured right in the moment, and you don't want to change that, because that's the most organic. But with songs like this, while the nature of like everybody in the room, gave everybody that warm feeling, I was able to take that and just kind of, you know, use it as I went about recording the songs. I've recorded the song actually like 6 or 7 times throughout the last year, believe it or not.
When did you know that the song finally had its identity? Like, was this a process? I mean, you mentioned 6 to 7 times within the last year. So did you record them thinking they were finalized, and then you figured, you know, I need to change something else?
Yeah, so I did actually. The first time that I recorded it, I kept pretty much everything. But then as I went into the second time around, we wanted to get writers on it. And throughout that process, the song had shifted in a direction. There was, while it was still like, you know, very good, I loved it, but it just, me and my manager were talking about it, and it wasn't the same as it was before we went into the session. And, you know, we were kind of just thinking that throughout it, and it was great. The people we worked with were amazing and they're very talented. But you know, just sometimes things don't work out the way that you anticipate them working out. So I think that was still a good experience nonetheless. But after that, after we were gonna do the song called Train Station, and I kind of put the song on the shelf for a little while. You know, I'm like thinking, okay, if I drop an EP next year, this song's going on it 100%. And my manager was always pushing this song. He's loved it ever since the day he's heard it. Cause that was like, I think the second day we met, or that we were like, that we had like been around each other. And he had liked it, like, and he was always pushing for it. So eventually he came to posting this video. And when he posted the video of the song, it was just a random chance, like, that it decided to really just pick up and go viral. Cause he just was like up at 2 a.m. telling me a couple hours before, like, hey, I'm going to post that clip from a year ago. I'm like, oh, cool, fire. And then it took off. So that basically was a big turnaround. And that's when I realized, like, okay, yeah, this is it. And I need to get this figured out. And so I basically went right back at it. Me and my good friend, Lil Raspy, basically looked at the song. We went through all my past experiences, and he was able to help me bring out a lot of things over my past that are true to me, you know, in this song. And definitely very big shout out to him for that. And it just ended up back to its original form, you know, like the first verse, exactly the same, the hook. And I was basically able to get that same feeling from it. And I was able to realize, like, this is it. This is complete. This is perfect timing. You know, I mean, he also told me I had to get the song finished ASAP because the fans needed it. So I was like, all right, I got to get on this. But regardless, I was like, this is perfect, because we didn't ask for this. I mean, we obviously, when you post a TikTok, you want it to blow up, but you know, what are the odds of that happening? And so it was just random chance that happened. And right when it happened, I knew exactly what to do. And that was to get the song done like 9 hours later.
That's crazy. That, I mean, it was instant, man, because it was like that first time that I watched it, I was like, this is already like stuck. Like I can't think of any other song. Like, it's your song. And then, you know, the track comes out, and I was like, this is like insane. Like, the power of TikTok or social media in general. Like, who would have thought that this would be happening?
Right. Yeah, no, 100%. It's just, and it's always, you know, random, like, chance. You know, if he hadn't have posted the video, like, I would not, you know, me, like, I might not be sitting here on the phone with you. You know, you never know how things go. But like, everything in my eyes, I believe, happens for a reason. And
Right.
you know, whatever it is, you know, there's a reason for it, at least in, you know, obviously my perspective. So that's just kind of helped me throughout this whole process. And I've just been able to just appreciate it for what it is and enjoy it, and try and just, you know, go about it as humble as I possibly can, while just, you know, looking forward to what I can do, and, you know, accomplishing all the things that I can, provided that I can, you know, work my ass off and keep it going.
Would you say that this particular song has finally had you figure out like who you are as an artist, what kind of music you'd be doing? Because your previous stuff is different. So I'm curious if your previous stuff was basically you going through that artist development process, figuring out your sound and your style.
Right. I pretty much think you hit it on the target. Not entirely going forward. Going forward, I want to pursue the music that makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? And that just has me getting chills. But at the same time, because, you know, I feel like as an artist, and from the development that I've had, I'm able to do different things, which is what's on my Spotify. But yeah, no, 100%. You're definitely right about that. When I started music, it was what I'm doing. It was this kind of music, the crazy type of music. And I was doing production, learning piano, learning how to do beats. And that was in 2017. And then the next year I get into the SoundCloud scene of this new wave genre that's emerging. It's like emo trap. And I found like a lot of happiness in it. I loved it. I just really liked the energy and like we were saying, the vulnerability. You know, people just opening up their hearts and expressing what they truly feel. And I was able to resonate with that, and that definitely helped me build up a bit of an audience through that. And throughout the last year, me and my manager have been talking about just kind of sort of what direction I want to go. And there's definitely a lot of directions that I can go, I feel like, included the one that's the Crazy is on. So just going forward, I don't really know how to answer. It's a hard question to answer. But going forward, I definitely think I have a better idea of what I want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I won't be as all over the place. It'll be broken down into like a central theme, but it'll have multiple components in it. You know, I won't just stick to the singing stuff, you know, because I feel like it's like ice cream. You eat too much of it, you don't want it, you know.
That's true. Yeah.
So, you know, you listen to too much of this, you're not going to want it. And so I feel like if I'm able to break things up with the talents that I have in other genres, then I'm going to be able to bring something bigger to the table that my audience will not only like admire, but they'll want to, you know, take the next step further. They'll want to come to the shows. They'll want to do these things. They'll want to interact, meet and greets, all that type of stuff, you know, because it's
Right.
that kind of connection that really sticks with me for sure.
That's awesome. And I mean, it seems like you have your stuff figured out. I feel like a lot of new artists are still trying to figure out, especially because this industry is constantly changing, and fans, you know, they're great, but like they're the ones that are changing the industry at the same time, because they like something different one day and then they like something else the other. So it's cool that you kind of have that mentality. Now, as far as the song as a whole, what would you say was the biggest challenge throughout this whole process, whether like in the recording, the writing, or even the releasing process?
I would say the biggest challenge with this song, it would be just the recording process was pretty easy. Now that I'm thinking back to it, the recording process didn't take very long. Every time I went to record it, especially the last time, which is the version that's out, you know, that happened within an hour and a half. And I took my time with it too, which is surprising enough. But songs usually take me a lot longer after that. But just with, you know, all the support that people have been giving me to drop it, I was like, no, I got to do it. And once I reached that point in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I can definitely do it for sure. So I would say the biggest challenge would just be the turnaround, because I was supposed to drop a song with a video on the 29th of January called Train Station. And that was our plan. But, you know, just with everybody demanding the song, we knew to just we had to turn it around. So that meant getting it pulled from platforms and getting the new one up and enough time. Yeah. And enough time for the fans to get it at you know, so they can enjoy it pretty much. Yeah. So I would say that was pretty much the biggest difficulty. And it wasn't necessarily a difficulty, but it was, I would say the part that like was more stressful than other aspects, I would say, for sure.
So would you say, since you already had a different song in mind, would you say that now you want to play the long game with this single before you drop Train Station, or do you feel like you want to drop that one almost immediately as well?
So how I had my drops planned out for this year, you know, going at a pace that wasn't like this, you know, I wanted to drop a song at the end of January, and it had been a minute since I dropped the last song. The last time I dropped a song was August, which, you know, it's a couple of months, or it's a few months, actually, several months. So I didn't want to wait nearly as long, but at the same time, regardless of whatever I dropped, I wanted to let the fans be able to digest it, you know, because whatever I was going to put out, I was going to put my like heart and soul into it. And I wanted them to be able to see that for what it is. And maybe that's not liking the song the first time, playing it 4 times, and then, oh my God, I love this. Because at least as a listener, you know, me being a listener, that's a lot of the time, that's how it is for me. You know, I have to listen to it several times to get into it. But regardless, I just wanted it to be digestible, whatever it was. And now that it's crazy, you know, like the song Crazy, I want it to be digestible, you know? So I can't imagine myself putting out music within the next coming weeks. You know, I definitely want to see what people think of this, and, you know, just get more input. I want to hear what the fans have to say, you know, what they like, what they think. And I definitely want to explore my options in that territory for sure.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations with Crazy, man. I'm super excited that I got to discover you, and I'm super excited to hear more music from you. So congratulations with that, man. And thank you again for taking the time to talk to me.
Bro, of course. No, thank you again for having me, bro. It was a pleasure, for real. Appreciate it.